Okay, what's for dinner? Okay, time to check TikTok. Is this all these guys eat? I don't know about y'all, but I love food. Japanese, Italian, Filipino, Jamaican, whatever. I like to switch it up. And that's kind of how I've interacted with food for most of my life. Although I wouldn't say my diet is the best, I mostly try to eat clean and have a decently balanced diet, incorporating a mixture of protein, grains, fruits, and vegetables. You know, the typical guidelines that we as a society follow in order to be healthy, taught by our doctors and World Health Organizations. But what if I told you they're lying? I don't know if you guys are aware, but recently there's been a large surge of TikTokers posting their dinners that look like this, and even this. It's a lot of steak and eggs. These self-proclaimed health and fitness gurus claim that this is real food and how every human should eat every day. I grew up being taught that eating a lot of red meat like steak and even eggs can provide for some unsafe long-term effects on my health. But y'all know how I am on this channel. In addition to my willingness to try anything, I'm very open-minded. So I would love to learn more about this nutritional enlightenment so I too, like these influencers, can become healthy. If only there was a way to do that. Oh yeah, I guess I could just ask them directly. W acting. I actually found a TikTok of you where you claimed that people are fat because they ate chicken and rice instead of steak and eggs.
The reason you guys are still fat asses is because you go home and eat chicken and rice after the gym. The hell is wrong with you?
Could you explain why you believe that?
You know, if you're really trying to boost like your testosterone, get your metabolism right, steak and eggs is gonna be the better option.
What are the benefits of a diet primarily and heavily featuring the combination of steak and eggs?
If your diet is mainly steak and eggs, your skin, your gut health, everything's gonna be cleared up and fixed. That's all you need.
If it's so beneficial, why has society kind of frowned upon eating an abundance of things like red meat and eggs?
I think it's a whole brainwashing. It's almost like people want to make us sick. We've just been told there's a certain way of eating.
There is a big debate around like LDL cholesterol, which I'm not gonna deny at all, but I think the benefits outweigh the cons.
My whole life since I was a kid, I was told red meat, you don't want to be eating too much, it's not good, but I feel fantastic.
Why the cutting board? Does that have any like nutritional aspects or is that just like aesthetic?
Really just to like get more people to comment about it. Because you know, people are gonna be like, dude, just eat a plate.
And let's say I wanted to adopt this way of eating into my own lifestyle. What staple everyday meal helped you get started, and ultimately what meal would you recommend I start out with?
5 eggs every single morning.
Ground beef and eggs work so well.
I'm really into ground beef, and I actually mix a banana in there as well.
If you have more of a budget, go for your strip loins, go for your ribeyes, whatever it is, steak cut. Those are amazing.
I think I saw you offer a coaching program available, right?
Yeah. I still am doing sort of coaching.
I have a meal plan.
What do you offer on that program?
Just that it's mainly fitness and health coaching.
Just for people that are really trying to get into eating healthy.
Strict, like just like whatever is needed wherever your goals are.
How much does it cost to be a part of that program?
The $21.99.
As of right now, it's only $100 a month, or you can do 3 months for $250.
Man, these guys seem to really have it all figured out. I think they might be winning me over, which is why I decided that it was time for me to try out the steak and eggs diet myself. So I head to the store and grab some steak, eggs, and avocado, and started heading home to cook the meal that was gonna make me healthy so I could be just like my favorite TikTokers. Oh yeah.
Oh, so you don't know how to crack an egg.
It's cracked. Okay, so we have our, come here, dinner! Our steak and eggs and avocado and what's the most important part, Tammy?
Steak?
No, it's on a cutting board.
Oh.
Why am I eating on my bed? I don't have a dining table. Please subscribe. I need money. Okay, let's eat. I see what the thing they do. They dip it in the yolk. Okay, there we go, yeah.
Yeah.
Whoa! Okay, this is good.
Hurry up, I'm hungry.
Okay, sorry. You can eat. So while I finally let my camera woman eat, I realized, you know, maybe it's not just about the taste. It was time to look at the science. I think the best way to determine if this is a healthy diet for the average person is actually through a method that Sam the Guru mentioned in our interview. Pros and cons. Do the benefits of eating an abundance of red meat and eggs outweigh the potential negatives down the line that society has warned us about over the years? In order to compare, I'm going to both fact check the claims that the influencers are giving in favor of steak and eggs. And in addition to that, I'll also do my own research to see if there's any potential cons. You know, who knows? Probably not going to be any. You know, I don't know. The first claim is that it raises testosterone. There were some studies that some meat do increase testosterone when eaten. The study notes that usually higher quality of meat is the biggest jurisdiction on whether you gain testosterone off it or not, but unprocessed red meat was included in the group that increased testosterone. So this one passes. Getting off to a good start, You hear that, chicken and rice enjoyers? You're going down. Next up was the claim that steak and eggs can improve your metabolism. I couldn't really find any reputable sources to back this claim up, but I did find an article that claimed that increasing your protein intake improves your metabolism, and steak and eggs have protein, right? So like, it's not necessarily entirely specific to red meat and eggs, but I'll give them the point. And finally, there's the claim that it clears your acne. You know, I got some acne. You know, everyone's always been trying to find the cure for clear skin. Maybe these guys figured it out. It was steak and eggs. How could we not know? Oh, what's that? Like most animal-derived products, eggs can disrupt hormonal balance. And eating eggs more than 2 or 3 times a week may contribute to acne in some people? Uh-oh. Yes, so it seems like this claim actually kind of backfired. And you might be thinking, Sweeney, that's just the eggs, you know, maybe the steak outweighs it and really does cure your acne. Not really, because the same study found that a large reason eggs can cause acne is because they're very rich in the vitamin B12, and there's another food that's very rich in vitamin B12. Okay, that was the pros. No, we got two. I'm really happy about that. There's probably gonna be 0 cons. So like, I think it's gonna work out. Let me do my research. I'm gonna do some Googling. Okay, we'll be good. Okay, so according to the National Institute of Health, red meat a lot of time is high in saturated fat, and an overconsumption of the red meat can contribute to obesity, general inflammation, and insulin resistance. It's also worth knowing that the National Institute of Health also stated that large-scale red meat consumption has contributed to epidemics of diseases such as zoonotic infections and cardiovascular diseases. And perhaps worst of them all, a doctor from Harvard did an analysis of a multitude of studies on the overconsumption of red meat, and they found that red meat does increase health risks. Most notably, an increased risk for heart diseases, cancer, diabetes, and premature death. Okay, so let's look at our pros and cons. So pros, you'll get real manly, or real strong. And cons, death.
Sweetie, what's wrong?
I mean, I trusted these TikTokers. They said steak and eggs were gonna fix all my problems, but now there's all these cons and all these negative long-term effects that they don't mention. I thought steak and eggs was gonna cure me, you know? I just wish there was a way that I could have a diet that I didn't have to worry about having long-term chronic illnesses for the rest of my life. How am I ever gonna do that now?
Why don't you just like ask a doctor?
A doctor? Would you like to introduce yourself, and list your credentials and also what you do?
I went to medical school, then I got a PhD in biology, did research for most of my adult life. What I'm mostly known for on the internet now is for being a YouTuber, essentially.
There's a trend on TikTok where influencers are showing their dinners, which are primarily made of steak and eggs. What are your thoughts on a diet primarily and heavily featuring a combination of steak and eggs?
Well, nobody would advise that based on anything we know scientifically. It's going to be virtually impossible to find evidence backing up a diet that is very low in fiber for long-term health, or a diet that is very high in red meat.
The rate at which they consume it, would you say that there's more cons long-term than pros?
You know, once or twice a week having a steak, something like that is usually the ballpark. For me, if I was going to replace what I normally eat with steak 5 times a week, I mean, I can't think of a single nutritional or health advantage there. And there's plenty of things that would probably be worse in terms of blood work. Yeah. But I can give you examples of someone who has all kinds of intolerances where they can't tolerate other foods. Of course, it's better for them to eat this. So it depends on this context of the individual. And of course, that's not one blanket solution for everyone, but that's the answer.
Why do you think trends like this gain such traction on social media, even though we've been taught opposing ideas as a society throughout the years?
This is tied together with political views and the aesthetic establishment and the anti-establishment, most people who do this, is that they had an underlying health issue that they were looking for a solution for. It was never they were doing great, they were super healthy, and they went over the science systematically and they go, oh no, this is the healthiest thing. It's never that. It's always, I had this massive issue and then I tried this that I heard about on the internet and I experienced some relief. There's some back rationalizations as to why, all of science is wrong and this is actually the right way to eat and stuff like that, including the gurus that then evangelize this to other people. Their story is always this.
Would you say it's better to have a diverse nutritional plan for like the average person?
Yeah, for a healthy individual that can tolerate a balanced diet based on everything that we know scientifically, that's best.
What is the ideal staple daily meal someone should have to best benefit their health?
You can put together a healthy meal in many different ways. In general, some fruits and vegetables, nuts and seeds, fatty fish maybe, some seafood, some dairy, some whole grains. That would be kind of the basic picture of a healthy dietary pattern.
Any final advice to those trying to choose what foods to include in their diet, and also who to look to for advice on nutrition?
Work with a registered dietitian. Be extremely cautious of everything on the internet, including me, including this. You have to be extremely cautious of everything on the internet. It is a complete wild, wild west. People will say absurdities at machine gun pace. There are people who don't care. They just don't care. And they can get corrected 1,000 times a day. They don't care. They'll keep saying it. Look for a pattern. An isolated study always has low value, but if you keep seeing the same thing over and over, different teams in different countries, and you keep seeing the same thing, our confidence goes up. Those are some general guidelines.
Thank you, man. That was all my questions.
No worries.
I think moral of the story is don't believe everything you see on the internet. I think social media has kind of became this hub where most people get their information from. And that could be a double-edged sword because while it brings people together and offers new perspectives, it also opens the door for people abusing it. So please, don't look to TikTokers for universal health cures in your food because that doesn't exist. At the end of the day, eating an abundance of steak and eggs might be good for some people, but probably isn't best for most. But what do I know? Don't listen to me. Listen to the science, listen to dietitians, and listen to people like Dr. Cavalho, who do this for a living. Even though he said not to, he seems to know a lot more than a lot of us. And most of all, stay healthy.